Hi, fellow YouTubers. Pat Brandon here. Uh, Everybody's heard that Tiger Woods was in a pretty bad accident. I saw it the other day in my Yahoo mail. And my lady friend looked up what caused it and things like that. And it was an interesting read. I'm really glad he's okay. He's a great athlete, and I know he's beloved by many, many people, and I appreciate his athleticism and bringing a lot more people into golf. Um, Reading about the accident, they mentioned that there was no evidence that speed was a factor or that there was any intoxication, which is great. Um, but they didn't mention one thing. They didn't rule out or didn't mention that a device of some type, cell phone or onboard GPS or something that was distracting him. And it was interesting to me. There was a quote in USA Today by Felix Lee. He's an expert in accidents, and he belongs to the Expert Institute. It's a network that provides expert witnesses in litigation. And he said, speed doesn't seem to be a factor. It was just some kind of inattention that caused the curb strike. Now, that's a pretty polite way to say he wasn't paying attention. He could have fallen asleep. I don't know that. You're getting the black box out of his vehicle, so, that's not going to tell you if he fell asleep. But the way the accident happened, and by what they've put together so far, there was some sort of not paying attention. And that's a really polite way to say he wasn't paying attention to the road. And that's what has really finally put me over the edge to start to make a series of videos called Is Driving Really That Hard? It's not, I don't think, but I do want other people's input. Using turn signals, merging correctly, just some common things that we can all be reminded of to use on the roads to keep other people safe. I think before the government steps in and forces us to behave correctly on the roads we all share, and believe it or not, you or I don't own them. The government does. Yeah, tax money is paid for them, but I can't go out in the front of my house in the city street and pitch a tent. I don't own it. Never will. It's everybody's responsibility to use the roads with courtesy and thinking about the other person and watching out for the other person, because they're not always paying attention, as we all saw. Now, my hope is that Tiger Woods will come clean with what actually happened. Smart money, I think, would go on that he was using some kind of a device. I can't say that for sure. If I'm wrong, I'll apologize. And, but there's just been too much publicity about what didn't happen. And there was no mention of ruling out cell phone or devices. And he is a very high profile athlete, and I'm very happy for his family and him that he didn't get more severely injured. But this is an opportunity for somebody that high profile to step up and say, here, look, I made a mistake. And it could have cost me my life, and it could have cost other people their lives had it been on a different road, or somebody else, he went the other way and crashed into someone. That's very fortunate it didn't happen. But it's an opportunity for a stand-up guy to come out and say, look, I made a big mistake, and I hope you guys can learn from it. Because people will listen to him because he's famous. I'm not. I almost get wrecked every day when I'm riding my motorcycle. And I have a motorcycle camera, and I have a camera on the front and back of my motorcycle. It's called, I won't say because I'm not sponsored, but it's a nice feature to have. People pull out in front of me. I know they can't see me. I understand that. But people using their cell phones while they're driving is, well, the statistic calls it distracted driving. Distracted driving is now leading drunk driving in traffic deaths in the United States. You can look it up. And distracted driving is just as bad as drinking and driving, because people that drink and drive know that they shouldn't do it. Do people that use their cell phones when they're driving? I've got video of today, and I'm going to post it tomorrow, of a guy on the expressway that is 75-mile-an-hour speed limit passing me on his cell phone, and he's swerving back and forth in his lane and sometimes crossing the lines. It's not necessary. I hope Tiger will come out and say it's not worth it. He has a big rehab in front of him. I hope he can golf again. I hope he can get back to close to his normal physical abilities. But I also hope that he will be a stand-up guy and tell us what really happened, what was distracting him, or as they call it, some kind of inattention. What was he paying attention to other than driving? It could help some people. If it saves one life, if it saves your life or your children or loved one or grandchildren, someone you know, if it saves that life, please, Tiger, come out and step up and tell us what happened. I hope you all treat each other with kindness and respect, especially on the road. There's just too much of this that's happening, and before the government steps in and starts to take drastic measures to stop this, I don't think they really want to do that, but I'm going to say that they will. They've already started thinking about equipping automobiles with mini cameras to catch drivers that are doing incourteous things and sending them tickets. And that will happen if we as a people don't start being more courteous and following the traffic rules. And the biggest one is paying attention. My girlfriend, lady friend, has to take a course every year for driving because she uses a company vehicle, and their company makes them take this refresher course every year. And she was telling me about it, and the biggest reason for people not paying attention is daydreaming, according to the company that gives them the refresher course. And I understand that if you're on the road for a while, you can get lost in your thoughts. But I was taught back in the day where it was very important to keep both hands on the wheel at all times, watch the road, check your mirror every 8 seconds to see what's behind you. I still do that. I don't know that they still teach that, and that's what my new series of videos is going to be. Is driving really that hard? Are turn signals different on vehicles? I've driven brand new vehicles, and it seems pretty easy to just flick your finger up and you notify the people that are behind you that you're going to turn. I don't understand what's so hard about that. Are they not taught that anymore? Is it not important? Do people just get in the habit of it and then not do it? But if the government does put cars on the road that are equipped with cameras, whether they're personal cars and people just submit the stuff and get paid for it, there's a lot of different ways that they're looking at. But maybe, and this is sad, people will start driving more correctly if they know they're being watched on the road, which is, I think it's fine. Watch me all you want. I don't break the laws on the road. Rather than that happening, I hope everybody can just maybe think a little bit more, be more kind, share the road. I know people get things on their mind, but when you get in a vehicle, it's very heavy. You don't really understand the force it has when you're just cruising down a highway. And it's, not everybody rides a motorcycle, I know that. We're hard to see. I know, and I've driven semis, and people don't understand it takes a lot longer, 3 or 4 times longer to stop in a semi. So if you're pulling out in front of one, understand that. That's just, they can't stop as fast. And I can stop on my motorcycle 3 times faster than a car behind me. And there's a lot of tailgating that goes on when I'm going the speed limit because they're impatient, especially on just a 2-lane highway. I actually pull over and let them by me, because if something steps out in front of me, like a deer or, I don't know, a vehicle, who knows, I'm going to be able to stop a lot faster than that car behind me, and it's not going to be able to stop, and it's going to crunch me. So I'm looking in my mirror every 8 seconds, and there are a lot of people that ride up the tailpipe, and that doesn't have to happen either. Just be kind. It doesn't hurt to be kind. Be polite. It's share the road, because everybody has a right to be on there, and everybody has a right to not be treated by a bully that thinks he owns the road. My girlfriend lady also saw a bumper sticker when she was in Ann Arbor this past weekend, and saw a bumper sticker that said, "I do own the road." No, you don't. Nobody does. It's the government, and nobody is the government, really. It's just an institution that governs. So we don't own the road. We are allowed to use it. It's a privilege to have a license and drive on the roads. So I hope you all will consider being kind on the road and focus on what you're doing. Leave the stuff that's bothering you behind. If there's something going on in your life that's distracting and you can't pay attention, get an Uber or ask somebody else for a ride. Don't put people at risk, especially my children, my grandchildren, your children, your grandchildren. Stay off the phone when you're driving. They do have Bluetooth earbud things. You don't have to be looking at anything. I don't condone that either, because if it's that important, pull over, make the call, and keep other people safe. it's just the right thing to do. So I hope you have a great day, and I hope you stay safe out there, and I hope Tiger Woods will step up and tell us what was the word that they used to sound like you're picking up a turd by the clean end. It was just some kind of inattention. Just could have killed people. Not just him, it could have killed people, but that's Felix Lee. He said it was just some kind of inattention. Not just. It was some kind of inattention. And step up, Tiger, and tell us what that was. I hope you a good recovery, and stay safe out there.